Welcome to my AI Glow Up series. Kind of. I originally uploaded these videos that I'm going to show you as a part of a TikTok series. Between last year and this year, I was experimenting with AI and seeing if it could help me with my glow up journey. But since then, I decided to take the series down on TikTok. One, because I've learned about the environmental impacts of AI, and I decided, I at least want people to have this context here of knowing what's going on, how AI is impacting the environment before they decide to or not to use AI, and hopefully provide some alternatives. But I also just wanted to share some behind the scenes of the series as to what worked for me, what didn't work for me, all of those things. So this is going to be like a compilation / commentary on my own videos, just so you have the context and you can decide whether you still want to use AI for something like this or not. Before we get into the compilation commentary portion of this video, I just wanted to note two things about AI to kind of tie everything moving forward together, which is one, with AI, what you put in is what you get out. So giving it generic questions, generic information doesn't really help it to do what it's designed to do. So that's just something to keep in mind, and I'll touch on that more in detail with some of the videos. And then the second thing that I wanted to note is that AI is not always accurate. I mean, that sounds pretty obvious, but I feel like the way that people rely on it or choose to use it nowadays, they kind of really just take it at face value. But at least with ChatGPT, because that's what I use throughout this series, it says itself like, hey, we don't always get stuff right, so double check our information. So just keep that in mind as we go through all these. One last disclaimer before we start. I started the series back in May of last year, and then I restarted it like 6 months later. So the video that started it 6 months later was kind of repetitive of the first video. So I'm going to start with the later video because it has more information in it. And then I'm going to pull back from the earlier videos, and then we'll come back to the later part. Basically, we're going to jump around. 2 of the AI Glow Up is our analysis. First, I took pictures of my face from the front, from the side, and also from a 45-degree angle just to cover all my bases. And then I did the same thing, taking body pics, and I wore an outfit that was form-fitting but not like shaping, so you could get a true sense of what I look like. Then I took the face pics and the wrist pics and put them into ChatGPT and asked it for my color season, my face shape, and my undertone. It told me I had an oval face shape, which is pretty obvious, a neutral undertone but slightly warm leaning, and because of that, it categorized me under the soft autumn color palette. When I asked it to generate an image of the color palette, this is what it came up with. With the full body pics, I asked ChatGPT what my Kibbe body type was, and it determined that I am a soft classic. I was also curious about my Kitchener style essence, so I uploaded a few different pictures of me in different outfits and asked it what it was, and this is what it came up with. I asked it to indicate percentages for each one, so it said 40% natural essence, 30% classic essence, and 20% romantic essence, and then 10% dramatic. I also wanted to know what my makeup archetype was, and this is based on one of Dear Peachy on YouTube's videos. So I literally just copied and pasted the entire transcript of her makeup archetype video. I asked ChatGPT, hey, based on the script, can you tell me what my makeup archetype is? It said that I have like a moderate visual weight. It ended up saying 50% natural, 30% elegant, and 20% romantic. In the next few videos, we'll dive deeper into how we're going to use these for style and for makeup and for hair and all the other aspects of appearance. But for now, let me know if this is helpful after you try it out, and be sure to follow so you can keep up with the series, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. So with this first video, I had already done the putting my pictures into ChatGPT and asking it for my undertone and stuff. I just kind of redid it for the sake of that video. But funnily enough, the first time I was trying to start the series, ChatGPT was trying to tell me that my undertone was warm, and I just knew in my heart of hearts, I'm like, girl, I'm neutral. Like, I feel like a lot of things with regard to me and my features is like the most average of average. Like, not in a bad way, but just like, I'm in the middle in a lot of places. So I was like, no, I'm neutral, which luckily I was right, because I ended up getting an in-person color analysis, and that's what my undertone was. If you want to see that, I have the full appointment. I'll link the video wherever I can link it on screen, of my whole in-person color analysis. And then with my Kibbe body type, I mean, I can't confirm whether that part's true or not. I'm not an expert with that, but I had previously tried to type myself, just with taking pictures, and I ran through like a quiz. And when I tried to run through it myself, I came out as dramatic classic. So it doesn't seem that far off, but still, like, we never really know. And then just jumping back for one last comment on this video, ChatGPT got my color season wrong. It said I was a soft autumn. I'm not a soft autumn. Again, you can go watch my full color analysis appointment in person to see what my actual color season is. But yeah, I got that wrong too. On to the next video.
6 months later.
We're back! And we're restarting the series with Pinterest boards. So first I have this one for style. Then I have this one for makeup. And this one, which is more of just an overall vibe / lifestyle related board. Now, ChatGPT can't directly pull from your Pinterest boards, like from the links, so I sent it screenshots. But after I fed it the screenshots of each of the boards, I said, hey, tell me what my aesthetic is based off of these 3 boards, and this is what it came. We've got soft minimalism, earthy luxe, modern boho, and effortless chic. If you're confused on what your aesthetic is, definitely try this out and then let me know in the comments what ChatGPT says your aesthetic is. Okay, so this video was probably like the least useful sort of the ones that I made, to be honest, but I felt like I didn't really have issues with this when it came to ChatGPT. The worst part was just kind of trying to pull the pictures and making sure that ChatGPT could actually see the pictures to analyze it correctly, but I feel like it gave a good output in terms of describing my style, so nothing really else to say about that one. I've seen a lot of people say that the key to dressing better is finding style icons that look like you so you can figure out what complements your body type, your skin tone, etc. So we're going to ask ChatGPT who our style icons are so we can dress better. Make sure you go back to the last 2 videos where I talk about how we did an analysis of ourselves through ChatGPT and we also allowed it to tell us what our aesthetic was. But once that's done, all you need to do is ask ChatGPT to tell you who your style icons are based on your face shape, your body type, your aesthetics, your color season, whatever information you want to give it. I gave it all of those things. Based on my body type and face shape, it said that my style icons are Meghan Markle, Zoe Kravitz, Tamiwe Newton, and Jasmine Sullivan. Then, based on my color palette, it said Olivia Palermo, Diane Keaton, and Alexa Chung. And finally, based on my earthy luxe aesthetic, they said that Solange Knowles and Alicia Keys were my style icons. I am questioning some of these. You know which ones. But we're going to move forward with the other ones because they seem pretty accurate. Anyway, try this out. Let me know who you get. Let me know if it's helpful. And definitely be sure to follow so you can keep up with this AI Glow Up series. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Again, nothing really to say here. Y'all tell me if you feel like those people seem like they fit me. I know you don't know me like that, but still, yeah, I don't know. Let's see if ChatGPT can help us put together a decent outfit. First, you're going to want to go back to this video so that you can learn your color season and your body type. Now, we could just straight up ask ChatGPT to come up with outfits for us, but I found that kind of limiting, so instead what we're going to do is ask it to give us some personal style rules. Here are the ones that it came up with for me. It also offered to provide a checklist for shopping, but I wanted to skip that for now because I wanted to use the clothes that were in my wardrobe. So I went over to my closet, pulled out pieces that I felt like aligned with the rules, and this is what we came up with. The colors of the after outfit definitely complement my skin tone better, and the more fitted look definitely complements my body type better. I also went back and asked ChatGPT to rate the outfit out of 10 in terms of how well I adhered to the style guides, and here's what it said. So it rated the outfit an 8 out of 10. It didn't realize that I had on a necklace and earrings and a bracelet, so I told it that I did and asked to re-rate it. And then it said it was a 9, and its suggestions were to add some outerwear and to add different shoes for a more polished look. Let me know what other style experiments you want me to run with ChatGPT, and make sure to follow to keep up with this AI Glow Up series. See you in the next one. Bye! Alright, being 100% real with myself on this video, that was not my best outfit. I was just working with what I had and I was really tired. So do not judge the fit, okay? I'm getting better. We're figuring that out. But I will say, when I was trying to go through like the fashion portion of this whole thing and actually getting down to clothes, the one thing that was really frustrating was you cannot just ask ChatGPT to like find clothes for you. You can't ask it to just put together an outfit for you. You can't just like give it free roam, free will, free whatever, you get what I'm saying, because it will give you like the most generic stuff ever. I could tell over time when I kept trying to ask it for stuff like that it was pulling from like really generic, like 10 basics you need in your closet type of articles, because it would just keep being like a blazer, a this, a that, like just really basic stuff that you see people say that you need in your capsule wardrobe or whatever, stuff like that. Despite the fact that I kept telling it, hey, consider my Pinterest board, consider the aesthetic that we talked about, like in makeup outfits, it still kept pulling items like that. And I was like, bro, I don't wear blazers. Like outside of corporate work settings, I don't wear blazers, and it would not understand that. So that's something to keep in mind. That was something that was really frustrating. The way I ended up getting around it, as you could tell from the video, I basically laid out clothing items that I felt like aligned with the style rules that it gave me, took a picture of those clothing items and was like, hey, make outfits out of just these clothes, and it kind of forced it to do it from there. So that was another part of why I was like, I'm just gonna pull from my wardrobe, because the stuff I kept getting from ChatGPT was super generic and did not fit the aesthetic. All right, so next up is hair, and there were actually 2 videos for this, but one of them was literally just be like going to get a retwist, so that video is still gonna be up on TikTok, so I don't need to share that one. It was really just me saying, oh, I let ChatGPT pick like the hair color that I mixed into the braiding hair, Cuban twist hair, whatever hair it was that I got for my locks. But we'll get into the other one. I feel like I covered most of my issues with ChatGPT when it came to hair, but we'll come back if there's more stuff I needed to say. This is gonna scare me, but we're doing this for science. I'm gonna let ChatGPT pick my hairstyle so we can take this head wrap off. Now here's the thing. I have locks, so we have to see if ChatGPT understands that. Long story short, it does and it doesn't. So I went through 3 different renditions of asking it for hairstyle recommendations based on my face shape. If you want to get more into the analysis aspect of this AI Glow Up series, make sure you go back a couple videos. But here's what it came up with. As you can see, some of these styles are locks. Some of these styles are loose hair, kind of loose curl pattern hair at that. And some of these styles are braids. So, yeah. 2 things I learned with working with ChatGPT in this capacity is 1, you kind of have to remind it that you're black sometimes, if you are. 2, sometimes the pictures that it comes up with does not match the descriptions that it gives you. So if you ask it to generate an image based on an answer it gave you, it might not always match up. And that was definitely the case for this. For example, when it generated this picture, one of the suggestions was a lock hawk. That's not in this picture at all, so yeah. I think it also did and did not understand how short I was telling it my hair was. I told it that it was like chin length, but it kept suggesting styles that like my chin length hair wouldn't really go into. To be fair, the first time I said that I was willing to add extensions, but then in other ones I was like, hey, I specifically want ones for just my hair, and it still was kind of like not getting it. But in the spirit of doing it for the plot, I'm going to choose this style. I'm going to try to do it, and I got to start by washing this head. So I'll be back. This is what we ended up with. An attempt was made. I really hate doing my hair, so it isn't the neatest, but I tried, kind of. And I don't know how I feel about it, so be nice. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I got nothing else to say. Let's move on to makeup. ChatGPT give you an accurate shade match. We're in Sephora to test out the theory. So we're trying out the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder. I've been wanting to try this for like the past month. And we're going to try it out in 3 different shades. I'll let you know which one ChatGPT selected for me in a second. But what I did learn in the last video of this AI Glow Up series was that I'm a neutral tone. So the first shade is 7. That's meant for neutrals. The second shade is 8. Not meant for neutrals. So I kind of knew it was going to be too warm tone. And here's the 8.5. And that's the shade that ChatGPT recommended for me. So now we're going to blend these in just to get a more accurate depiction of how it looks on my skin. And my emotional support Aquarius was there to help me out. So shout out to him. He pointed out immediately that the one in the middle you could see. So again, that's obviously too warm for my skin tone, but the other 2 blended in pretty well. So there's the 7 again, because I wanted to try it again. And there's the 8.5 again. Let me know which one you think complements my skin better, because I kind of couldn't tell at this point. I was pleasantly surprised by how accurate the shade match was. They didn't have the 8.5 in stock, so I decided not to get either one because I wanted to wait and get you guys' opinion to see which one you thought fit me better. So definitely leave that in the comments below. And if you're interested in using AI as a part of your glow up journey, definitely give me a follow to keep up with the series, and I'll link the last video in the caption. Thanks for watching. Bye. I did end up getting the 8.5 in Danessa Myricks. It's kind of too dark for me now, but you know, maybe if I actually go outside, tan a little bit. I digress. Next video. Can ChatGPT be a makeup artist? We're going to test the theory. In the first video of this AI Glow Up series, I asked ChatGPT to do a color analysis for me. After that, I asked it to generate an image of a makeup look that might look good for me, and this is what it came up with. So once I asked for the tutorial, it went step by step from prep through all the different steps, and it even gave some product recommendations at the end. The steps weren't super detailed, but it was kind of enough to get me started. First, I used my e.l.f. primer, then I did my brows. This was the only step I did out of order from what ChatGPT said, because I like to do my brows first. But anyway, put on my tinted sunscreen and concealer. I used the wrong one, but it's cool. Then I went in with this palette, and it told me to do a soft brown on my lid, a taupe color. I had a darker brown in my crease, and then a shimmery gold in my inner corners and on my lids. I used the same dark brown under my eyes. I did some eyeliner, some mascara, and the same blush I have on today. I asked it to generate an image to help me with highlighting and contouring, but this image really wasn't that helpful, so I ended up having to wing it. And by wing it, I mean I followed the written instructions to the best of my ability. Then I went in with a dark brown lip liner like they said, and a gloss. Finish it off with setting spray, and here's how it looked inside. You'll see how it looked outside in a second. Neither looked like the picture, but still pretty cute. If you're interested in using AI as a part of your glow up journey, give me a follow to keep up with the series, and thanks for watching. Bye! Nothing really to say about this one, and that's because there was another makeup video that I did where I had ChatGPT do like 3 different looks, so we're just gonna jump right into that one, and then I'll say anything else I have to say about it. Let's see if ChatGPT can help us come up with a signature makeup look. First, I took this picture of the makeup that I already have. We had to go through a few renditions of this because it couldn't recognize some of the products and some of what they were for. So for example, for the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder, it didn't really recognize it as a foundation. I think it thought it was a blush. I actually had ChatGPT shade match me for the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Powder, so go back to that video to see how that worked. But after all that was clarified, I basically asked it to give me 3 different looks. One to be an everyday natural look. The second would be a 90s look, and I told it to think Nia Long or Sade. And the third was whatever it wanted to give me. Here's how it turned out. Here's me with no makeup for reference, then me with a tinted sunscreen on. This is the 90s look with a foundation that I don't like, and this is me with the Danessa Myricks, and it's my favorite. I also asked it to fill in the blanks in terms of products that it thinks I might benefit from but don't have, and it told me to get a translucent powder, which I don't have, and a mascara, which I also don't have. So if you have any recommendations for ones that don't run, definitely leave those in the comments. Although we definitely have room for technique improvement, I feel like overall this went well, so I would say give it a try for sure, and be sure to follow to keep up with this AI Glow Up series. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, yeah, nothing really towards the content of the video because I feel like this one wasn't as bad. Like I said, I did have to like go through a few renditions of showing ChatGPT what products I had for it to come up with a makeup look, but that freestyle look at the end, that was tea. I enjoyed it. So it can come up with good looks, but I think the one thing I would say is similarly to what the fashion thing said, if you're gonna ask it like what products to get, it's gonna kind of spit out generic things. Another big thing is that it will provide like broken links a lot of the time. So if you ask it for products to get, clothing items to get, things like that, because of the information it's pulling from, which is often older, but I think it's starting to get better with that, pulling from newer sources and things like that, it'll give you broken links. So products might be sold out. It might say that a product is available in a shade that it's not, like it confuses shades with products. It'll recommend something that's been gone for like 5 years, stuff like that. So just be aware of that if you're gonna ask it for products. Like it may give you a bunch of expired products. I remember behind the scenes, I didn't end up actually posting it, but I was trying to do a video where I was trying to get ChatGPT to recommend glasses that I could wear because I was thinking about getting new glasses, still am. But I tried to ask it about that, and it kept recommending glasses styles that were not available at the retailers that, you know, it was suggesting. So that got frustrating, and I ended up just kind of scrapping that whole video. I did ask it about my lashes. I'm just gonna put those up on the screen though, because I just did it like a photo slideshow on TikTok, so those are just gonna pop up as I'm talking. But the last 2 videos that I want to share are one, it helping me with my nails, and then me showing you how to use the ChatGPT app on like a basic level, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on this whole experiment and all that stuff. Can ChatGPT be a nail artist? Well, yes, but also no. I'll explain. Now, obviously it's not gonna actually do your nails because it can't, but I sent it this picture of my hands and asked it for the best shapes, colors, and designs to complement my hands, and this is what it came up with. Here were the shapes it came up with, the colors it suggested, and then here was a picture of it trying to put together a design. Now, it definitely struggled a bit on that design part, or a lot, but I love the shapes that it suggested. Obviously, I like almond, or I call this shape Almetto because it's like almond and stiletto put together because it's a little pointier. Since I just got a new dip powder kit, I decided to try out its suggestions. So I did the shape that it suggested, a color that it suggested, and I didn't do a design because I'm new to dip powder, but here's how it turned out. There's going to be one more video in this AI Glow Up series unless you guys have other suggestions, but in case this app goes, meet me over at YouTube where I'll try to expand more on this concept and apply AI in other ways. Thanks for watching. Bye. No additional commentary there, so we'll move into the tutorial and then I'll give you my final thoughts. Once you download the app and make your account, you can type in your questions or messages into this message box, and you can click the plus sign to add photos. With the free version, I think you're only limited to 4 uploads per day as far as photos. So I have the paid version. It's $20 a month, but you could probably do everything you want to do within the month and then cancel the subscription if you want to. But yeah, once you've selected your photos, they'll upload here, and then you can type your question in, ask it about your color season undertones, anything you want. Check the series for more inspiration on what you can ask it. And that's it. Let me know if you have any other questions. So that was a series of videos. I had to kind of rush it towards the end because we were in that period of time on TikTok where we were like, is it gonna disappear? Is it not? I don't know. And then after that, I was like, all right, I'm ready to let this drop and like move on to the next thing. But in summary, while AI seems to be able to identify shapes, it's not as good at recognizing the specifics of color, which is why it didn't get my undertone or my color season quite right. One person noted in the comments of me posting about my color analysis in person that AI can't really recognize color properly, and I feel like that tracks. You know, you're uploading pictures, lighting can be different. There are so many different factors about what information gets picked up when you're submitting photos, which is also why a lot of people kind of don't trust color analysis even by another person when you're just like sending them pictures. But I don't know nothing about that. I got mine done in person. Anyway, the next thing again is that ChatGPT seems to pull from sources that may override what you ask it to consider at times. So earlier when I was talking about how I'm looking for outfits, I'm asking ChatGPT for like outfit suggestions, what pieces I should get, and it kept giving me generic information like blazers and tall boots, like those basic capsule wardrobe pieces, instead of the things that were on my Pinterest board that I repeatedly was sharing with it. So that's something to look out for. Its ability to recognize certain items is limited. So again, when it didn't recognize some of my makeup products, and for a few of them, it was to the point where I had to be like, I have this and this, like wrote out the product to say this is what I have, it's this. Again, it can provide broken links or expired links for products that aren't available anymore. So if you're looking for it to discover products, it's not the best at that, at least not yet. Again, for me specifically, no matter how many pictures I provided to ChatGPT, I still had to remind it that I'm black, like especially with makeup stuff. Like it would send me pictures of a makeup look and it would be on a not black person. And I'm just like, I don't know how this is gonna look on me. To the point that I made in the video, like a lot of times the picture wasn't representative of like the tutorial it gave anyway, but still it's just the point of like, we're in this conversation, you're collecting information about me, like keep that in mind when you're putting outputs towards me, you know? And then lastly, well, second to last, it's good at synthesizing information, especially based on pattern recognition. So with identifying style and therefore the style guide and rules for Pinterest, like it did well with that because it can, you know, do pattern recognition, but it's just not as good at like recognizing the colors and the stuff that I was saying before. Overall, I would say that because it's just pulling from other sources, it kind of makes sense to just go straight to those sources rather than trying to go through ChatGPT and wasting that energy to have it pull in something that may not actually answer your question. There have been a lot of times where I've asked ChatGPT something, it'll give me an inaccurate answer, and then I'm like, bro, this was inaccurate. And we'll have gone back and forth on that like 3 different times, and it's like, I'm sorry, let me try again. And it'll put something else out and it's also bad. And like, why go back and forth with that when you can just like look up exactly what you're looking for? I feel like especially in this day and age, I mentioned this in the TikTok, so if you came from TikTok to this video, hey. But I think it's more important in this time especially to support creators around you who can give you the same information, and oftentimes like in a more visually tutorialistic way. I'm making up a bunch of words, but basically saying that to say like, I can go look up a black girl who has a similar skin tone to me to see what something looks like, rather than just relying on ChatGPT to be like, maybe it'll know what I'm trying to get at. So just support creators for the things that you're trying to look for, basically. Now, I was gonna do like a prompt, but I feel like the point of this video is to be like, maybe don't use AI for this stuff because I feel like it's not really worth it. So I'm not gonna write the prompt, but what I will say is, in order to not waste time and waste energy with AI, if you're still gonna decide to use it, you need to kind of know a lot about yourself before you talk to it. Like, you cannot trust it to give you the correct color season. I don't know that you can trust it to give you the correct body type. I don't know if you can trust it to tell you what's on your Pinterest board fully and like actually incorporate that into its responses. Basically all the stuff I said, consider all that stuff when you're putting stuff into there so that you can get the best output possible, even within the limitations of how it works. Speaking of supporting creators, I am going to link videos relevant to the topics that were in the series. So I think there's a girl who did a series on like Kibbe body typing. I'll link her below. I'm gonna link Dear Peachy below if you don't know about Dear Peachy. get to know. She'll be linked in the description. And I'm gonna plug my own color analysis video that I've been mentioning throughout this whole video. Again, one, because I can, but two, because I feel like the color analyst that I was with really went into depth about the different aspects that make up a color season. And so even if you're not my color season, you can benefit from like going through that whole process and being able to see how it works. I hope this helps. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what other stuff you'd be interested in hearing about. I'm in kind of a hiatus because I'm in the middle of figuring out this whole thing and other stuff, and I'm in school and there's a lot going on, so I don't know when I'll be back, but I just wanted to get this out there. So thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.